Right, just right here for everyone. Okay. Trying to get share the right place. Okay, hang on. Right, well, there's no better way to do this than say, hey guys, welcome back to this channel. Welcome to my second live stream of something that I might do regularly. I don't know the full details of what I'll do, but welcome to what is going to be my full review of the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials. And you may be thinking, Chris, why didn't you just do these after each special? And I was like, I did think about that, and I was thinking like after each reaction, to do like sort of an in-depth like full review of it. But I thought that's me thinking then. I wanted to have time to think of it, to get my full feelings across over the whole things. And the fact that it's Christmas Eve right now watching this, and if you're watching this, and that the Christmas special is usually going to come on soon, I thought that's long enough time to sort of get my view on it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just sort of give like my thoughts and feelings on each one of the three specials that came out, and sort of maybe interject in terms of like what I think of them. I don't know if I'll give them an actual rating at the end, but we'll see. We will entirely see what we do, and I'm going to move you back here so that I can give you a bit of a better shot. Okay. So let's go in. Let's just start off into it with like the little things first. So when it came down to like David Tennant and Catherine Tate returning, I was all in on that. I was perfectly like, great, fantastic. I love the fact they'll come back. Yeah, but I'll be honest. Before everything happened, I did not know that they were like going to come back, like, because the way they were, like, they were just going to be the start of it. I thought they were going to be like side pieces to it, and like Shooter was going to like run it. But I'm fully happy. I was fully happy that like David Tennant got back in the role, and Catherine Tate, the Dr. Donna was here, and I was super into it, especially just with their chemistry and such, because I've always never really particularly liked it that much when the Doctor was sort of like in love with like companions and such, or companions were in love with him. I mean, like there were one or two where I was like, okay, that's nice and sweet, but a lot of them were like very, sort of kind of those like lovey-dovey stuff I wasn't into. But that's just my thoughts of it. But also like the return of Russell T Davies as showrunner and writer, I thought, yeah, this is great, because to be honest, some of the show's best in terms of the new stuff that's come out since 2005. His writing is still set par to be the best. I mean, I love Stephen Moffat's stuff. A lot of his stuff is great, and Chibnall, well, trying to be kind. Chibnall was not that great. I'll say that in terms of the set goals and such. Like, but I still, but But I guess it's one of just like in terms of all three of them, Russell's still number one. So the fact that he's coming back to not only they did the specials, but he's that and beyond, he's going to do all the others. Fantastic. I was fully in on that. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let's just kick this off and go to the start. Let's do the first special, the Star Beast. So I've got notes here and such, which I'm just gonna sort of go through it on stuff. So my thoughts and feelings on the Star Beast. I felt like it was a nice little touch to get. It was a nice, good episode to get into, especially like the fact that essentially, I didn't think about it at the time because I basically watched the show throughout. But for anyone who sort of skipped a few seasons or a few series, it's a little bit difficult to get into. So like this was an episode where it's like they had to sort of bring about a lot of explanation. Because I know a lot of people know them. Because it's the 10th Doctor, and then Donna Noble. Some of the best stuff was them, but it's also been like, I think going on like 15 years or something like that. Like it's been a while, if I'm remembering right, close to it, yeah. Since they were last on screen as like who they were, so there was a lot. So the fact like when it started out, they had to do like a explanation in front of that very odd CGI background, which I was like, okay, that's a choice, but I'll let them have it. I was like, I didn't need that, but I get that for anyone who needs it more. Okay. Sorry, I'm just all like trying to assess my feelings about the whole thing. So the fact that like the Doctor landing in Camden Market, and basically strolling by and then suddenly meeting Donna Noble again and all her family was a nice little touch, because I thought, oh, that's cute, that's great, just seeing all of them together, known as such. I love the nod to Rose. That was just like, okay, I get that, that's what you do, fine, fair enough. And just the notion of like, you know, that's what Destiny is about. Like Destiny, just for some reason, is fixed on Donna Noble's character, on all of them to do who they are, and it's fantastic. So then like you get like then the next shot of like some context of you realizing that Donna gave away all the lottery money, which I'm still a little bit like, okay, I get like that's the reason why you did it, but it's like it's 166 million, my dear. Like you can keep like 1 million of it, and that's still better, Yeah, you even like 60 million of it is still like life changing to a lot of places. It's fantastic, but it's one of those things where I say I get the noble causes, but I wouldn't be so noble. Okay, then we move on to like the Doctor like going to see the spaceship, and then we meet the, oh my god, see, it's bear in mind it's gonna be a lot of times where I'm recognizing people I don't know the full names of everyone, so you'll have to be careful. Like, so this is the first time we meet Shirley, who I love. I think Shirley's fantastic because she's someone from uni who's actually smart and like looks at things, and she's also like when the interactions with the Doctor, like because I've watched like the live commentaries as well of some of these, and I love the fact that like Russell says like, oh, they give off the bad vibe that maybe they don't like each other that much, or like they'll like Shirley isn't in awe of the Doctor as he normally is expected. He normally expects every scientist to be like, oh my god, I'm in love with you, that sort of thing. He's finally met one who isn't, who's like, oh yeah, it's just you, okay, so we then move on to like sort of, actually no, one thing I'll say that in that sense, that meeting with like Shirley and the Doctor like exploring the spaceship area and such. Loved the new Sonic. Loved the Sonic and stuff. Thought that was nice. It looked like, I didn't get a good shot of it all, but it was like a nice little, I suppose it's like a nice little nod to all three of them, which is fantastic. Of like the old screwdrivers, you go like 10s, 11s, and 12s, like all merged into one little one, just to sort of like be like a combination of the entire thing, which I absolutely love. I thought that's fantastic, but that's just, and the fact that like you could do like 3D printing with it, like he drew a screen out of it. I was just like, what, like any other time I just feel like that's so stupid, and then you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, we got 3D printing now. Of course they're gonna do that. If we can 3D print guns and such, I'm pretty sure we can. He can 3D print a screen and do all that stuff. Okay. We move on then to in Star Beast, where they sort of touch on the transgender idea, which I was a little bit like, okay, I get that. I do like the fact that like they are addressing the issue. I'm always a little bit touch and go sometimes when they do issue, when there's an issue on the table, and TV shows, especially Doctor Who, want to sort of get that across, and I'll explain that. I'll go a little bit further into that as further on the story goes, but I love the fact that it was addressed, and it was like, okay, it's there, because then we meet the Meep, who's like cute except for the long spindly hands, which I was like, no, I do not need a cute little white bear with giant eyes and like Edward Scissorhand claws, that sort of thing. That was just like, okay. And it shows my stupidity. It did not even think once of like, oh yeah, something might happen involving this creature and such, because then you get like the big bug creatures like going in there, and who have like who have like the voices, which are fantastic. And then you sort of like have the all-out scenario of what's going on there when like Donna meets the Meep, which is just who she is. I love that very, very much, because she goes into the whole thing of like, oh, okay, we're gonna So I'm trying to get my thoughts across. She sort of goes into the whole. It's sort of like you sort of recognize immediately. That's like, okay, that's how she would respond to any alien, and then that just keeps up in the ante a second, and it just goes the doctor immediately. It's just like, oh my god, just the numerous amount of coincidence that they have. But that's Donna for you. Like everything points to her, you know. Okay, and then then you get sort of like the talk of like why they're meeting together. I will say one thing. I did find it a little bit weird, like when as I mentioned before that, I'll admit my own confusion, my own stupidity, that when like the soldiers went to explore the ship and then they opened the ship and the sun stuff came out, didn't even cross my mind to be like, wait, whose side are you on? Like didn't even cross my mind. I just thought, oh, they've been corrupted, something's happening to them, Like didn't even occur to me. I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's like, are they on your side or that side? So I was not sure, until like the further firefight down below. Then you go like them talking, like the doctor in Donna's house just talking with the whole family and such, which is a nice bit like of the Meep to sort of explain who they are, what they're doing. And I was thinking a little bit, because there are some moments in a lot of these where you'll see this in the reactions as well, where like I'll go, that's a bit much, or like you don't need to do that, but I get that, where it's like when the doctor is asking, hey, where what are you doing here, or something like so we need to know what this little guy's doing, and the Rose goes, you're assuming he is a pronoun, and I was a little bit like, okay, get the idea of addressing the issue. They are an alien, by the way, so maybe don't need to go full into that detail, but I get the vibe. It's like sometimes it's just something that like, get what you're trying to do. Don't need to add it on to everything, because it was one of those things I was a little bit nervous of, like Rose addressing the transgender issue, which is great, but I don't want that to be the only thing about them. It's like, because then that's boring. Like I wish they'd gone more into like the toys, or the toys that they're making, or like more into the life. I was like, I get the issue of why they're doing it. It's fantastic, but it's just like, don't make it the only thing in the show that they're about, because then that's boring. Because then they're just because then anytime they talk, I'm just gonna be like, okay, so I have to think about it now. So like characters can be more than just one issue. They can be everything. They can be so many different things. Okay, moving on. Then you get like the firefight, which I love, especially the fact like the Doctor could just make a force field out of the Sonic with 3D printing. Please tell me in like future episodes with Ncuti's Doctor that we get that as a feature. Please tell me that's a thing. I would love that, because it's one of those things where it's just like the Sonic over time has just got steadily more powerful as it is as a weapon. Like it's not like a scientific device in it. It's just a full on, Deus Ex Machina device, which I absolutely love. Because I always love that's what Russell does sometimes, where he'll sort of go into like add things on just to be like, okay, it solves an issue. Like making the Sonic screwdriver like 3D print, because like that solves an issue. It's like what would he do? Like he 3D prints it. It's like when he talks about the psychic paper. It's like, why do you? Because people ask him like, why did you invent psychic paper? It's like, I made it just so that I could write people in, not mess around with everyone. Like that's the whole reason why psychic paper exists. It was like so he can actually get into situations. The Doctor can just get into an area and not have to explain himself, which I absolutely love. Okay, we then go through the whole firefighter stuff, which is nice. I will say one thing, like the Meep in terms of the actual physical prop, the actual physical Meep there. I thought it was really good that they're actually doing physical props and characters and actual costumes and stuff. Not even like it wasn't just a CGI thing, the whole time. It was actually. There was actually something there, because I love that that's what Doctor Who sometimes is mostly all about. A lot of it is practical, You get a modern era, there has to be a lot of, CGI effects and a lot of just actors just talking to nothing in the air, which I get, It's the age we live in. You just gotta do it, You gotta actually, bring CGI into it. But there is a lost art to practical effects. Although sometimes monsters can be practical, That's what makes the Daleks so great. It's like, they're big giant clunky things, but they're practical. It's like they are actually there. It's great. You think okay? We move on to then go to the court scene, which I was just like, okay, that's what and even then I was just like, I'm amazed at myself. I was like, oh, well, I didn't even question like, oh yeah, maybe Meep is the bad guy. And then like the sudden shift of like happy eyes to then sad to angry eyes, like, oh my god, that's brilliant. Miriam Margolyes, who does the voice of the Meep, fantastic actress. I've always loved her and such. She's always been brilliant in everything I've watched. I mean, I've known her since I was a kid watching Blackadder. She's always been that to me, and I've always loved her for that. But like the sudden shift of them being of the Meep being a bad guy, it's like, damn, that is something amazing. Okay. We'll move on to the third act then. So then, which is a little bit like questionable in my mind, but again, like I remember watching like when Russell T Davies was doing the commentaries and how like you sort of get the vibe, especially the whole show, the whole episode right now, like a lot of it was rushed. Like they had to get through a lot of stuff to get to the bits they wanted to get to, where it's like, I don't know if that's like a conscious choice of what they were doing. They had to rush through so many things, whether it's like, that's the way the TV and movies are now. That everything has to be so fast paced. You have to get through things quickly. Again, I'm used to that, but it's like, even though you're thinking like, okay, this is so much. Then it's like this felt really quick, because then you get to the Meep like trying to launch his ship in the most convoluted way possible. I mean, like, Jesus, I have watched a lot of shows where it's like they point out like, oh yeah, launching a ship is not easy. I get that, even because I watch like NASA launches and stuff because I always love rockets and things. Rockets and spaceships are my thing. And I do like the fact that they were like, oh yeah, launching a ship is not just a press of a button. There's lots of stuff involved. It is a big thing. But again, like, that was so much work. It's like, Jesus, so much work to get involved in there. That's and I love the idea that when the Doctor is in the actual ship and he's sort of like being more all like wibbly wobbly and nimble about like just climbing everything, like try and press buttons, do everything, just David Tennant just showing off the fact that he can climb walls and do everything like that, which is funny. Okay, we then get on to the bit where, as you know, in my reactions, I'll go, oh, that's extremely convenient. Where like the moments where the Doctor and Donna are in the ship, and the Doctor's trying to race around, trying to stop the Meep from issuing the dagger drive, which is a cool concept of like that would destroy all of London by doing that, and I love that idea. It's just like, oh yeah, this creature needs to get home. How are they going to do that? By wiping out all of London. I love that. We then it gets to the point where it's like, oh, that's convenient. Where it's like the Doctor's trying to stop it, and then suddenly in the round room, a giant wall just comes down and splits the Doctor and Donna into separate rooms. Where I'm like, huh, okay, I'll let you have that. Fine, I'll let you have that notion. That's okay. Because then it allows the Doctor to sort of get Donna's memory back. Getting that whole scene. I mean, David Tennant's acting in that scene where it's like he's legitimately sad about having to like, bring Donna back because it might kill her, because it will kill her if she remembers. And like it just reminds me of like, oh yeah, David Tennant's brilliant. He's fantastic in doing all that stuff. And then just the sad notion in his face and in his voice when he has to say the words that get Donna Noble back, which is fantastic. I thought that was brilliant. And then like, as soon as she comes back with memories, it's literally just, I gave away all my money. I gave away all my money. It's like, yep, that's Donna. That's the priority. Which I loved. I absolutely loved. And yeah, then both of them just stopping the ship, which is fantastic. And I did legitimately think in the end of it, I was like, oh, you're not going to kill Donna, are you, for me? Like, don't do that. I watched the trailer. I saw the whole thing. You're not going to do that to me. And then we get to the final climactic bit when you realise that Rose has also got it. Like Rose has suddenly got the meta crisis, and Donna's alive, and you realize like the Doctor's like, oh, the meta crisis passed down from Donna to Rose because you have a mother to child, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And again, it brings out the scene which I know a lot of people are going to be angry at. Even when I saw it, I was like, oh, people are going to be mad when like they go binary, non-binary, binary, non-binary, that sort of thing. It's like then we'll explain that. Oh yeah, they can be the Doctor because the Doctor is not female nor male, and neither and both. Which again, I'm like, I get why people. There'll be people on there who will be angry about that. Then they'll not. It's like, okay, fine, yeah. I mean, it was one of the things where I was looking for. Like, the Doctor is literally the definitive article of like they are the Doctor. They can be both or either gender because that's who they are. You know, I was a little bit like, you don't need to tell me that. I have watched the show. I do know that. They've never addressed the fact that both a man and a woman. It's like, that's just what it is. Doctor doesn't care about gender. They can be whatever gender they want. But again, like, nice little nod. I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. That's fair enough. It's we're getting to that notion where it's just like, moments of extreme convenience are there, because then like Donna, Rose, and the Doctor stop the ship, do all that stuff. I love how like the meme after everything, says, just wait till I tell the boss. He's just like being like cryptic. I hate that because it's not Russell if he's not doing cryptic and setting things up for further in the future, which I love. Stephen Moffat learned a lot from him on that. Because then you get on to like Donna and Rose deciding like, okay, how are you going to sort out the meta crisis? And they're just like, oh, we'll just do what any woman does. We'll let it go. And I'm just like, okay, that's again extremely convenient. Like, why? Okay, like, sure thing. Because I'll tell you something. With I have my own thoughts and feelings with with all three writers in terms of the showrunners of Doctor Who. My own thoughts and feelings are like all of them. So I'll do in reverse just for fun. So Chris Chibnall, the last writer, I loved his casting. Like, Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, brilliant. Loved her. She was fantastic in it. Loved Bradley Walsh as Graham. Yasmin was great, and Ryan was okay too. Yeah, and John Bishop's character, who I've just completely spaced out on. I'm so sorry. Hang on, let me try and remember who he is. Sorry, John, you weren't in there that long. As Dan, I like the people that he put in. They were nice. They were good people. But he was also like someone who like the way he would write the episodes, or like direct them, or like basically the series that he did were a lot of times like not really the show to me. In the sense, like, a lot of them was like, okay, those bits and pieces of like setting things up and then not delivering on them at all. Like the whole, because I'll tell you something, and I don't mind if I get a bit stuck into this. I didn't mind the idea of the timeless child. That whole thing. I didn't mind that because I was a little bit like, okay, I get the idea, I get the concept of what they were trying to do. They'll be like, no, we want the Doctor to be more mysterious because like almost by like the 12th or by like Peter Capaldi's Doctor, you sort of know everything about them. So like making the idea of the Doctor like, no, they're still this mysterious being that you have no idea about. I get that idea. I get it. Trying to make the Doctor more mysterious than ever, fine. But they just didn't he did not handle it that well. That's the thing. Like, Christopher did not really handle doing things that way that well. Like, he would set things up and then never deliver them. That and the fact that the way he would talk about social issues and the world issues and such were like, a lot of times whenever TV shows do that, I don't mind the issue being addressed, but I also don't think a lot of writers know subtlety when it comes to that. Like Russell will hint at it. He'll like hint the idea of it there, and I'm like, okay, that's not. That's okay. That's good. Steve Moffat also hinted, be like, okay, that's fine. Chris Chibnall's episodes, a lot of times, were like you would feel like watching them that he would bring out a shovel with written on the shovel the point that he wants to make, and then just whack it with you in the face and just bury you in it, just whack you into the ground. Like the whole time I was just like, okay, I get it, I get it. These aren't new issues. You don't need to bring them up again all the time. Like, I don't need to feel bad about my sci-fi fantasy show that I watch about the current world. I get it, It's fine you bring them up. It's like, I don't need the whole thing brought down. But that was good, Christian. Stephen Moffat as a writer, I thought he was fantastic. He was great in like setting things up. He would set things up long term, like trying to do like what was like the River Song, which was great. The crack in the universe, the hybrid stuff, the Time War. Like he would always do it. He would always do it a bit too much, like a tiny bit too much, to be like try and like make these all interconnecting things, and they've been like not being as hyped as he wants them to be. Like Russell T Davies was a little bit better at it. Like setting the whole like setting everything up together in the final season, that sort of thing. It was still good, and as much as I do love Matt's and Peter's Doctors. There were a lot of times I can look at each season and I'm like, those weren't those great, or like Peter's first season, whereas like a lot of it was most right, and I was like, I wasn't a big fan of. Like, but later on, like there were moments where it's like Stephen could do that. Stephen would like set things. He's good at scenes. That's what I think. He's good at speeches. Stephen Moffat's Doctors, his episodes were great at writing speeches. I mean the whole monologue of like Don't Blink is like fantastic, or the Reigns of Akaten, or the Zygon invasion. Like when Stephen Moffat would write like a scene where the Doctor would monologue or like do like a speech, he was king of that. It was fantastic. I mean, like I still hold to this day that the 11th Doctor's outing was like the best speech, the best final words to me. Don't get me wrong. I my heart poured out with David Tennant with I Don't Want to Go, but like I loved Matt Smith's final lines. And I thought that's a good way of doing it. That's what you want in the Doctor, to be like, yeah, he's sad, but like he also knows like he's still gonna move on, he's gonna change, that sort of thing. Moffat also loved killing his companions. I don't know why, what it was about, but it's like he just loved kind of killing all of them. I mean, like when you just think of it, it's like, like Amy and Rory both, got sent back in time and died when they were in their 80s, where it's like, okay, that's technically a thing. It's like, you get Clara, who got killed by a bird, and then brought back kind of in the last seconds of her life. And then you got Bill, who died by a Cyberman. It's just like, all of them were just like, it's like Stephen Moffat just saw the episode with Adric. He saw the companion Adric and thought, I want to outdo that death. I want to outdo it so much. But you just won't. That's still a harsh one to do. So that's Moffat. And Russell is now, as I'm going on to the Starbase, so I'm still doing that. He's great at setting things up. He's great at characters, like little moments and stuff. But my God, the dude loves a Deus Ex Machina. He does love the idea of a quick fix, because that's what happens in the Starbase. It happens here, where it's just like Donna just says, like, oh, this meta crisis that could have killed me and made you have to erase my memories. I'll just let it go now. I'll just let it go. I don't need that anymore. And that is just like, really? Like, I mean, like, okay, fine, But that's what he is. He is sort of like, aside from also like making the companions fall in love with him. I mean, like, you got to remember, like, most of Russell T Davies' companions, Rose, Donna, Jack, Donna, a few side ones which I can't remember, but they all like loved him pretty much. Donna was a nice breath of fresh air. That's why she's one of the best, is because she only saw the Doctor as a friend, which is fantastic. But it's like Rose loved the Doctor so much it almost made me sick. Like Rose, after like a lot of it was so lovey-dovey, I was like, oh my God, just stop it. I don't need this. And Martha was always like so love-struck with him. It's like, I get that, but it's like, oh. But, but that gets the point, like, return to my point here, is like, he does love the idea of a quick fix, which I think even he admitted in, like, the commentary for The Giggle. He said, oh yeah, I just needed the situation with the Doctor and Donna just out of the way. I needed that gone so that we can move on to something else. And I'm like, yeah, fine, and I'd be a little more upset if that's not what you already do. You know, I mean, when you look back at it, you think of it as like, like. Bad Wolf Rose Tyler was literally a Deus Ex Machina. Like, she sucked in the time vortex and deleted the Daleks. You got like you got like season 2. You got like the rift opening and just send like all 5 million Cybermen back into the void. Yeah, that was extremely convenient. You got the Mars and the Archangel there at work, like that one where you literally have the Doctor rise into the air by the power of human thought. It's like all the people had to do was think of the Doctor, and he becomes Space Jesus. It's just rise in the air. And even then, I'll say this now, like with season 4 with Donna, the Doctor Donna idea did kind of annoy me when it first came out, because I was like, okay, that's an extremely quick fix. It's like the idea of Donna just suddenly just fixed everything. Like she was Tangle and human mind. Like all she had to do was press a few buttons and she could just fix, the reality bond, like Davros, that whole thing. I was like, okay, fine, all right, that's just what you do, So if I'm not surprised in like later season, like Shooting Out was season where it's like the idea of a quick fix, that's just what he does. It's just what he does. I'll let him have it, So because then I'll end this one. I'll end the Starbase one, because then we end with us seeing the look of the new TARDIS, which I absolutely loved. Hang on, talking too much. Because then we see the new TARDIS, which I see a lot of people think like, oh, it's too, there's nothing there, it's not colourful enough, and like it's too bland. I was like, I like it like that. Like the old ones were like that. Like the classic ones, where it was just a white room and just the console there, and I thought that was nice. It's a nice nod to the old and the new. It's like it's massive. The staircase there, and I thought that's fantastic. I thought that was great, and just seeing all the buttons and everything, you just see the Doctor run around the whole area. That was so beautiful and such, and then the lights change, which I thought was quite cool. So I love the fact that that's the TARDIS. It's so just showing off the fact like it's getting bigger every single time, Because I was worried, especially at the end of the episode when Donna drops the coffee in there and just causes the whole thing to blow up. I was literally thinking like, oh, please don't let this be one episode. Like, do not let this be just one scene that you made me watch. I do not need that. Please don't. But overall, I'll get the Starbase was a good episode. I liked it. It's a good special. It settled a lot of things where it's just like, okay, get all stuff out of the way so we can have the Doctor and Donna back. That was fine. Okay, let's move on. We'll move on to the Wild Blue Yonder, which I'll say this. I stayed away from a lot of like the rumors and such, because there was a lot of rumors going around that which I now know, that a lot of fans thought, oh, it's like this episode is very secretive. Is someone going to appear in this? Is like Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi going to appear in it? I was staying away from everything, because I was like, I don't want to hear any kind of rumors about what these episodes are going to be like. Anything I knew was just stuff that they gave me, the BBC gave me. That was it. So I wasn't expecting anything like that. I wasn't disappointed by like people not coming back. I was perfectly fine with that. But like, I imagine a lot of people who did hear the rumors and watched the Wild Blue Yonder, they'd be like, oh, okay, I understand your sadness if that's what it was. So moving on to the Wild Blue Yonder, the Isaac Newton joke was stupid. I'll just say that right off the back. I was literally thinking like, you wrote this in as a dumb joke, and I'm fully into that. It's like, okay, fine. It's a little stupid area that you were just like, just having fun with it. Okay, fine. I get that, because you sort of like, again, the concept, because the Wild Blue Yonder is pretty much, it's the only one out of these 3 specials where I'm like, this did not have to be a special, because it was just like, this literally just could have been like an episode from season 4 that they just sort of had at the time, that he had the time, that Russell had the time, and he was like, oh man, I really wanted to do this one. Oh, I'm doing the specials now. I can just add it in. Like, he just mean like, he just slotted it in there, like the idea. Because it is sort of like stuff that they've done before. It reminded me of Midnight, the creatures that no one was there, but also the the ones like in Peter Capaldi's one was like the flatline ones, like creatures that didn't have mass or anything, so they had to make their own shape. That's what this was about. I liked it very much about that. Because I thought this is the World Beyond It is probably the closest so far we've got to the New Who being like, this was actually scary for a lot of people. It's like, oh wow, this is really tense and like just psychological horror of just like the doctor and Donna having to face themselves kind of thing. So it's that sort of thing, I love the robot, by the way. I was a little bit weird about the robot because you just can't learn to trust robots. But I guess I have to now again. You have to in this show now. I do love that. This basically was like the Doctor was like, without Sonic Screwdriver, without the TARDIS, which was extremely convenient, but that's the deal. Fine, fair enough. So it's always the Hads, isn't it? The Hads are just like, Doctor, why do you keep turning them on? Just leave them off. No, they'll never help you at all. I did like the idea, like it was more that the whole episode was really more about like the Doctor having the you sort of like are reminded a little bit with this that a lot has happened to the Doctor and maybe they aren't okay about it. Like Donna is really his best friend, properly. Like he's the one that she's one of the only few companions that he could probably talk to honestly, like properly. Like there were always some out there, but it was like, there was no bull with her. She could talk on either level with him. Like even like the ones like Arthur, even like Clara was the closest. I always thought that she was the closest to wanting to be the Doctor, but it was still not on equal level. It was admiration. She admired him so much. Like Amy or River or Rose or Martha. Any other companion, it was just like they either loved him or admired him so much. Donna was the only one was one of the only few I think who like saw him as a proper friend. It was like she was his best friend. Like equal footing. So like if the Doctor ever needed to talk to anyone, it would be her. That's at least what I'm thinking. It doesn't make it the best companion in my eyes. That's not. That's a different matter in my thing. But it's like when like you get to the moments like when they're just sort of like you're trying to sort out each other's doubles and such, and the Doctor has to sort of like be reminded of like, oh yeah, a lot of stuff has happened to him to them in recent years. It's like not only have they like lost companions in like horrible ways, or like had to be reminded of their death, and like having the Flux come back, which was a nice concept. That was an interesting thing. Which I love the fact that Russell T Davies has had to defend a lot with people. You get a lot of fans who was like, "Oh, did the Flux actually happen?" He's like, "Yes, it happened. I'm not gonna argue that." Which I'm like, okay, fine, because I've looked at a lot of the history of Doctor Who. A lot of weirder stuff has happened. It just has. It's just that happened. The Flux with like half the universe being destroyed is like, okay, fine. But I did love again. Like this was just a brilliant episode of David's acting of the Doctor showing the Doctor's like, yeah, the Doctor's not okay. Like really not okay with all the stuff that's happened to them over recent time. Like, that they don't know who they really are. The fact that like they've lost people so many times. The Flux killed like so many worlds because of inaction, indirectly because of them. It's like, and the fact like that scene was like he broke down. I was like, oh, that's good. That's really good. This also made me remind of why like I love that both of them, Catherine Tate and David Tennant, are great in their roles, but they're great villains. Like there's a reason why they can play bad guys so well, especially David, because I know him has played bad roles in it before, and it's fantastic. It's just like, wow, you both can be creepy as hell, and I absolutely love that. That's just such a good vibe, Because also the stretchiness. I'm like, okay, I'm glad you sorted that out, But it's just like it's a good show. It's a good episode of horror, and like sort of like reminding that everyone was like in the special. It's like, oh yeah, showing that this is not okay. This is not an okay one to look at. It's like I thought it was really good, and like the moment at the ending where the like Donna like it was so close together that the Doctor picks up the wrong Donna. I was like, damn, this is really close. You know, that's really up there, and I absolutely loved it. You know, like that was so tense. It was absolutely a really tense moment, and I thought it was really good. I thought this was. It's a simple plot. It's a simple plot, and sometimes simple ones are the best. You know. Yeah, that's sometimes what makes them the best episodes out there. I mean, even like for a lot of people out there, like Don't Blink is the best episode because it is just a simple plot. You know. Yeah. Girl fights against statues that move when you don't look at them. So that's it. Like sometimes you don't need that much, you know. Sometimes less is more, you know. And literally, Doctor and Donna up against themselves in a weird out of the universe way on a spaceship without the TARDIS or the Sonic. He's just good, you know. I loved it, you know. Okay, so we get to the end. Wilf and Mott coming back, even though that one little bit. We got to see Bernard Cribbins for the final little bit. Love that nod. Love it. You know, as all of us are. It's just like, you know, he didn't have to be in it, and I know for the fact that I didn't even have to see him that much. Even like the Star Beast, that little nod of like, oh yeah, he's in house accommodation because, you know, I'm like, that would have done me. So the fact that I got to see him even for a little bit, I was like, great, fantastic, absolutely loved it, you know. I thought that was a nice touching in to see him in it. Yeah, in the 60th anniversary special, he had to be in there for once. You know. Okay. Not that much talk about Wild Beyonder. If I do have more to think about, I'll let you know. But moving on to the final one, to the Giggle. Now the Giggle is probably my favorite just because of what happens in it. So we go with the whole thing. We see, you know, the magnificent, you know, Neil Patrick Harris first in the toy shop with his accent, which I find really funny. And I feel like, okay, that's. I never think that, you know, Neil could be creepy. He really overplayed the creepy vibe, which I thought, that's fantastic, dude. Run with that so much. That's just who he is. Because when the news came out, like Neil Patrick Harris was playing the Toy Maker, I'll be honest, I've only seen. Well, I mean, I've only seen the only episode out there. Because hold on, I made a point a while ago, years ago, to watch like certain episodes of like of all the Doctors, just so I know I've watched them all, because I can't watch all of them. And like some of the reasons are they're not there, they're missing. And the episode with the Toy Maker was one of them. But it's like there's only one episode out there of the other four. I think they're like animating them back out again, which I might watch just to future reference. But I've only seen one of them. I've only seen the one that was there, and I liked it. So I liked the character. You know, I thought the character was great. We also carry on the idea of Russell T Davies' social issues he wants to address, which I love the idea of him. He's not for like grabbing a metal, grabbing a shovel and beating me with a stick until the point he's making, but he's a little bit like, okay, I get what you're doing, where he's like, oh yeah, everyone in the world is suddenly thinks they're right and won't be arguing with. I imagine so many of us out there were like, oh, okay, I know that feeling, you know. You know, like how would we know what that's like of seeing a lot of people who think they're right all the time won't be argued against? Like, all too well, you know. Because then we see Doctor and Donna go to unit headquarters, which everyone knows. It's Avengers Tower. We all joke about it. We all just gonna do it. If it ever gets shown up again, which I doubt it won't, there was so much money. It'll just be Avengers Tower in my eyes, you know. Avengers Tower has moved. It's now in London. And it's now under the authority of UNIT. You know, great. You know, it's Spider-Man when it got sold off. It got sold off to UNIT. That's my theory now. The Doctor Who's in the Marvel universe. You see the return of like Kate Stewart, who I think is always fantastic. I love the fact that she is fantastic, and I always loved her. Gemma Redgrave is brilliant in the role, because I've watched the old ones. I watched the original Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. He was always great, and she pulls off the vibe brilliantly. We see Shirley return again off the same like vibe of the Doctor, which is like, okay, this weird interaction of like he has to sort of like address like Shirley like, oh, because you're so clever, you know. It's just like the look of, oh god, I have to explain this to you, and the Vlinks. Oh, it's hard to try and remember the name. Yeah, this is the name. had to look at my writing and be like, is that the name of the thing? Which I thought, that is something where I'm kind of like, when I saw it at the time, I thought, oh, this is something that's going to be addressed in the show, and then they just never did. I was like, oh, what the hell? What the hell? Like, why is this not addressed? And now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. I was like, Unit just has a robot now. They just have an alien robot they've got, and it's like, don't need to address it because it's been all this time. They're gonna get bits and pieces from everything. It's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's just what it is. Because then, we sort of like see the notion, because so I'm just trying to think of what to move on with. Oh yeah, because then we do get someone I did not realize I was going to get. We get Bonnie Langford back. We get Melanie. We get Mel. Because I was literally surprised. I was like, oh, I've seen you like in the old ones. That's fantastic. I get to see you again even for a little bit. Because for anyone who doesn't know, she was the companion for the 6th and 7th Doctors. I think I saw her for the 6th one, the 6th Doctor. I think so. I don't know. Been a minute. But seeing her back, I knew, like, I didn't think about it at the time, but I feel like one other companion's got to come back. They've got to have so many other people come back, and I'm glad it was her. Because she was great in the old show. So we see her again, and we see the reason behind why is everyone in the world so wrong. We get the anti-Zedex bit, which I'm like, yeah, I get that. Just. It literally is just Russell T Davies being like, hey, I'm not being subtle here, you know what this is about, it's like, and we're just like, yeah, we know, glad you're addressing this, because it's not like I face it every day I go online. That's just what it is. But even because he also like dresses the no show, it's like just that little giggle is great. The idea of like, oh yeah, the moment everyone went nuts, because. So I'm just trying to get my words together. I do love the Russell's talk of like when the Doctor like turns on the screens to show the giggles. At the moment the giggle was on, everyone went mad, which is a nice subtle way of saying, "Oh yeah, the world went mad the second everyone got a screen," which is like, yes, that is. Yes, I get the idea what you're thinking, but it's also like, come on, man, I like my screens. I'm talking them all right now. But I thought that was really fun and really cool. Also done like I love going back to Mel. I love like that little Doctor and Mel moments, like her addressing like what's happening in her life, going on, that sort of thing. I thought that was great. Donna getting the job of Unit, working on her own terms. God, I wish getting a job like that was that great. It'd be fantastic. But then we move on to the Doctor meeting the Toymaker, which I feel like that was such a great feeling. Just like because you see you see the original actor, who I can't remember the name of him, which I had before. And he's fantastic. Like they show him in color and show William Hartnell in color. It's like, oh my god, like wow, for anyone who doesn't know that character, it's like, oh yeah, that's a deep dive. That's like going back. That is literally more than 50. It's near 60 years old, because it's that old of a character, and just them bringing that character back into the 60th anniversary is great. I love that notion. It's fantastic. Especially the idea of like what the Toymaker can do. Because the Toymaker is essentially a god. Or not even a god, but like just this force of reality that can just do whatever he wants. And the only rules he follows are the rules of the game. Like apart from the rules of the game, he can just do whatever he wants. Which they make that point in the show later on. So when it's like when they sort of like have that interaction, and the Doctor's like genuinely turned on, like, go back to the TARDIS, because he's like, this is someone you don't mess with at all. It's like, even when I was up against him, I beat him in the game, and that was it. And then you go through like the corridors and such, and it's like, oh yeah, because I like the idea, like when the Doctor at the end of Wild Blue Yonder talked about the salt, which is great. And he's like, oh, I invited superstition and salt. I was like, what's that gonna do? What's that gonna add on to the rest of the show? And then in the Google, it's like, oh, I cast that salt into the universe. I played a game. I played a game and let him in. I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's like that does connect. Like, because you feel like, how do you bring someone like the Toymaker into it? It's like, yeah, you did. You played a game and went. I do love the notion, like, that activity, that acting that David's done brilliantly all through these episodes, of showing like the Doctor in this sad moments. You know, like even when like Donna was walking with the dog to the toy shop, and she was like addressing him, was like, "You don't talk about anyone ever, and you have so much stuff to talk about. Like, yeah, that's the reason why, Paul, you got the same face. It's like you're wearing yourself thin, man." Which I didn't think about. I was like, "Oh, that's a good issue. That's a good topic." Because I was expecting a lot more to come out of like. I was probably I was probably really overthinking. Like, oh, why does the Doctor have his old face? But why is it Temp's back? And it's like, I didn't even think it was like, is there like some supernatural force? Is the toy maker involved? Did he bring it back? Is he doing something? Is he telling himself something? And I was like, I didn't even think about it. I was like, that what Donna said was like, maybe he is just wearing himself in. Where it's like, because the tenth Doctor was always a Doctor who was kept his emotions in check, like a lot. He was always someone who was like, stuff happened to him, or like he was still like feeling bad of the Time War, still losing people, and like being reminded of like that people died because of him. Like because even like when he addresses it in like the end of time, he's like, I've got people killed, but then he's like, no, I got worse. I got clever. I convinced people to make themselves sacrifice themselves for me. Like I love that idea. I was like, oh yeah, he knows. He knows in his head. He knows that feeling was like, I know that he got clever. He knows like how many people has he made sure they sacrifice themselves in his name. And that wears a toll on him. So it's like when the Donna says, "You're just wearing yourself thin," I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I was like, maybe he is, because that's what these free specials are about to me. It's like the Doctor like not having any time to sort of like really probably think back and relax. But we'll get to that later on. So we go to the corridor bits, especially so David Tennant's acting in there of like him saying like, take everything away, what am I? I'm like, dude, you're brilliant. That's just you're still the Doctor. I love that heart-to-heart with Donna and the Doctor in that corridor was just beautiful, showing that those two were together brilliantly. And then you get the individual bits, was like Donna meeting the little puppets, which freaked me out. I was like, nope, get away from me. I was glad to do what Donna did, which is just kick them away or beat them up. Just do whatever you can. I don't need that at all. It's really not what I want. So, so just Donna being Donna and just showing off who she is. Love that brilliantly. And the Doctor like getting like the man with the puppet's face. Like real head, the puppet body, and then Neil Patrick Harris, the toy maker, just like marionetting him. Thought that was brilliant. And then just him showing the Doctor be like, "Oh, I thought I was clever. I thought I was clever." That was like really playing on to cut the in joke there. Really playing on the Doctor's strings. Then we move on to the bit that I like, which was chastising Stephen Moffat's character choices, writing choices of his companions, where like the toy maker showed the Doctor, like showed Donna like what happened after Donna left, and it's like, oh yeah, he met Amy who died of old age, he met Clara who died by a bird. I thought that they were like he was killed by a bird. It was like it's still weird, and Bill who was killed by a Cyberman, and you just get the Doctor being like, well, she died of old age, and the toy maker going, well, that's all right then. It's just like that little. It just screamed to me. I was like, okay, you're addressing that a little bit though. Like a lot of weird stuff happened to the companions in Steve Moffat's time. It's like there was no those companions did not have fun at the end of it all. They didn't get to live happy lives. And then showing the flux, I was like, oh yeah, killing everyone. And then you get to the moment which I was addressing before, like Neil Patrick Harris really made the toy maker super creepy and super like showing who's boss, which I absolutely loved. I loved that bit that he did that when they were playing the game of cards with each other on that table, and just that mini little monologue of the toy maker being like, "Oh yeah, I came to this universe. I toyed with supernovas. I made galaxies out of spin tops. I played it. I gambled with God and made him a Jack in the Box." That's a line where it's like, whoa, like, how powerful is this dude? Like, it's just like, oh, that is nasty stuff, I love that they mentioned the Master, a character who I'm pretty sure, I think even Russell said, like, oh yeah, we're not getting him next season. Because it's just like, fine, but you brought him back in. I never realized, like, if you look back and you think about it, I think, like, when you look back at all the Doctor's deaths, like the regenerations, I think like 5 or 6 of them involved the Master. I feel like, damn. So it's like I might see the Master again when next regeneration, that sort of thing, when that happens. But that was that sort of game of like showing them each other who's boss. I was like, oh, it's all about the game. I thought that was really good. Because then when we move on to them going back to Unit, and then the Doctor being like telling everyone, was like, oh yeah, this person is dangerous beyond anyone's belief, and the bloody Spice Girls, you hear the Spice Girls come out, and I'm like, this is so stupid, and this is so something that Neil Patrick Harris saw this and thought, yep, that's just what it is. Because I didn't care whether it was like, oh, it's pop music's in this. They've done it before. Sound of Drums was that. Voodoo Child, brilliant scene involved in that. And I just like, and it's a great scene of like the toy maker just dancing around around to spice up your life, because it does just, it shows how ridiculous he is because he's a toy maker. He loves playing games, but it also like it shows who he is. So it's like, oh yeah, everything to him is toys. Like you are nothing to him. You are just balls I could just tap into. You are just little playthings I will always have fun with. Oh, because I will say the scene where so I'll just go back before, where the Doctor asks why did you make everyone right, and he's like, so that they win. Like, that's the game of the 21st century. They shout, they type, and they cancel. Which I'm like, yep, that's what it is. Yeah, thank you, Russell, for like bringing that issue to the table. I was like, yeah, that's just, that's the culture we are in now. It's just deal with it from everyone. I thought that was a really good nod. I was like, that's perfect. That was so fantastic. But then you move on. When we move on to like to the main bit of like at the stage when like he's got the galvanic beam pointing at the Doctor. I love the bit where the Doctor was literally like, you can literally turn bullets into flowers. You can do so much, and yet why are you so small? Why can't you do anything good? And the toy maker's like, because it doesn't matter to me. Good or bad means nothing. All that matters is winning and losing, and I like that. I do like that sort of notion. Was like these omnipotent beings, like the idea of like gods or like deities or things doing these things, and people ask him, was like, why can't you be good? And they're just like, the old notions of good and bad to me don't mean anything to me. I have my rules, I have my things. That's what I do. I love that idea of like what they do. I love that in shows and in movies and such. It's great. Because then we move on to the regeneration, which I think all of us was like caught by surprise, because I was not expecting it to be that quick. I was like, oh my god, like he just got shot. I was like, oh, that guy, because I was like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to see Goodbye to David again. Like I didn't. I just lost him once. I didn't expect to see him again. Now I'm losing him again. Because I literally thought that he was just going to be, Allons-y was going to be his final words. And then when they didn't, I was like, wait, what? What is going on? What is this? Because then when you get to like the bi-generation thing, it's like it just splits like an amoeba. It's just like, whoa. Like you get David and Ncuti come out. It's like, whoa, what the? Okay, you're here now. That's a thing. Because I get the idea. It's like, okay, you don't. We don't say goodbye to David, which I love, but I also get to see Ncuti's Doctor interact with him. I see them both interact with each other, which I thought was fantastic. I get there were going to be people who were going to be mad. I understood that. When I saw this, I thought, okay, this is going to be something where it's like, people aren't going to be happy with it. And I'll address those tweets a little bit later. So let me finish something, I'll finish the scene. Love the game of catch. Love that a lot. I love the fact that it was just games with like the two Doctors facing against the toy maker over a game of catch, and he lost. Love that. Love that little bit. Thought that was fantastic. And showing off even a little bit of Ncuti's Doctor of just like this insane being. And I mean, it shows a lot that I fell in love with him instantly. I was like, oh, Ncuti's going to be fun. He's going to be really fun to watch. Yeah. And the fact that in the commentaries, I think Russell says that when the Toymaker says, "My legions are coming." Yeah, they emphasizes like, "Oh, more fantasy things are coming." I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm happy with that, because there'll always be people out there who like don't like the idea of like, oh, fantasy and magic shouldn't interact with science fiction. But it's one of those things like, with Doctor Who, I'm kind of like, no, you can do that. Just be careful about it. Just don't make it the whole thing. Because I get why people don't like magic and fantasy, because it's sort of like, because with sci-fi there are at least a few rules. Magic doesn't have rules. That's just the thing. Any TV show, book, movie, whatever thing you think of, where there's magic involved and it has rules, it's largely because the author had to write the rules themselves. Like science fiction, there are actual like physical, like scientific laws of the universe that they can't abide by. That they have to abide by in order to make things make sense. And a lot of it is like, again, a lot of it is largely ignored, but I'm fine with that. Like space travel, fine, don't care. Transportation, all that, fine. Weird aliens, okay, fine. But like fantasy, you can just do whatever you want. You can make up the rules. That's the thing. And I get a lot of people don't like that. Which is your own thing. But I think Doctor Who is one of those shows where it's just like, it incorporates so much stupid ridiculousness and fantasy elements in it already that the idea of them doing more, sure, why not? It's still a science fiction show. It's still out there. But incorporating a little bit of fantasy, yeah, it's cool, man. Because then it leads on to the next bit, which I like, which is basically the 15th Doctor telling the other himself. I do. Oh, hang on. Also, I love the fact that they had to show the Masters the tooth, the golden tooth, be picked up by someone. Okay, if I don't see that for like another 2 years, I'll understand. But it's like, okay, you damn man, like why? You had to do it again. Like, okay, because who was on that roof? Who was on that roof that picked up that no one else saw? Like, okay. Because then we we move on to sort of like to the both doctors talking. I will say with the whole bi-generation thing, as I've said before, I get why people will be a little bit mad, because it's like, it is a little bit like kind of a cop out. Because like, oh yeah, you get the new Doctor and David's back. You still have him as the Doctor, which people will be like, so what? He's just here now. There's just another Doctor here. There's just 2 Doctors, and we're just gonna have that forever now. And even I get why people think that. In my mind, I'm thinking like, guys, it's a time travel show. Doctors show up everywhere. They meet and cross each other so many times. It's just like, the idea of them being like 2 in the same time doesn't confuse me at all. I mean, if you really complain about that, go complain like when the 3rd Doctor was stuck in the 1970s for a few years, and show that why the Doctor can't ever go to the 1970s without interacting with himself. It's just that sort of thing. I get. It's that sort of idea. But it's also the 60th. Something had to change. And I do like if you've ever watched the commentary, The Giggle, which you should. It's really good. I love the notion that what Russell had this own little theory. Like when this bi-generation happened, that when the 2 Doctors separated, he said, okay, well from now on, the ones before, they all separated. It just, each one becomes its own timeline. It's like each Doctor sort of like split off into its own timeline, and the one that's each Doctor then suddenly just gets to stick around and have their own adventures. Which again, it's a cop out. It's a cop out. It's like a Deus Ex Machina thing, which is what he does. Not arguing that, but it also kind of does help with a lot of added stories going into the future, because like it makes sense. It gives Big Finish Productions and the Doctor Who audio dramas a lot makes sense. It gives them a way out. It's like, oh yeah, each Doctor, just gets to live on. The 4th Doctor survived the fall. The 7th Doctor's stuck in a morgue somewhere in America. Ten is running about everywhere, and so is 9 and 11 and 12. They all just return to who they were, and they get to just lounge about and do whatever they want. I like that. Because it's because it is interesting. But there's also this little bit then where we get like Ncuti telling David, I'm not calling them both the Doctor, just so I know. I will, but it's like, the Doctor telling the Doctor himself, it was like, him reminding himself, was like, oh yeah, I'm better because I fixed myself. It's like we're time lords. We fix ourselves and then we do the long rest. We do it out of order. We're that ridiculous, which I love because he had to point out to himself, his younger self, where it's like, dude, we've done a lot. We have not stopped in so many things. So many things has happened to us since that first Doctor came out, and it's just so many things have happened to us. Oh, extra thing, I do like the little nod where the toy maker was like, "I made a puzzle out of your backstory. Did you like it?" It's like it's a nice little quick little fix. It's like, oh yeah, that fixes things. It's like the Doctor's past is just a puzzle now. It's like just if you want to blame someone, blame the toy maker now. It's like it's just that stupidly complicated. But I love the fact that and going back to that scene where just they address like, we've lost Adric with the Legopolis, the key of time, exiled, imprisonment, losing Sarah Jane, losing River, losing Rose, losing Amy, Roy, and Clara and Bella, so many people, Legopolis, and the Flux. Just like, I love that notion of just like this is kind of what the specials were about. It was all leading to this of the Doctor telling himself, you have that face for a reason, which is like, because you just never stopped. You never stopped to think like what was going on. Because I love the nod where they were like, where he was like, we fought the gods of Ragnarok, and didn't even stop to say what the hell was that. I do like that notion. I do love it because it's just like, because then you get that nice little cute scene of us, Donna saying like, that's why I get it now. Why you changed your face to that one and you found me again to come home, because like you need to stop traveling, man. You need to sit and relax and just think about things. What's the you that actually regenerated or bi-generated and is better goes off himself. I think it's still like he's still gonna have problems. That's the thing. He's still gonna have a lot of things. But I think it's nice. I think it's a nice thing the Doctor wanted. Was like he wanted the only person who could tell him to retire was himself, which I love, because it's just like, no, one of us has to stop for this for a while. It might as well be you. I'll carry on, do all my things. I'll carry on, be the Doctor and everyone else. You need to be part of it. You need to stop. And if there are people out there who are like, so is there just gonna be a Doctor there? It's just gonna be two Doctors in the universe now. Again, like, the universe is big. It's really, really big. You forget, like, all the other Time Lords out there who have their TARDISes that flow about. The Master's still probably out there somewhere. All the other Doctors are out there. Clara's still out there. Like, the universe is big. There's a lot of people traveling everywhere. So I don't mind that there's more than one. That's just the deal. I like that a lot. And yeah, just I love when it then comes to Ncuti just taking the hammer with just being like, oh yeah, I'll find a way to make sure you still get your cake and eat it too, and just whacks the TARDIS back into a new one. I was like, oh, okay, again, convenient, fine, love that. I've been told on good assurances that the one that Ncuti takes is still the original TARDIS. I don't know why that one little bit is. I don't know why that is for some reason. Like, I want that to happen, but I was told by him that like that's still like the original TARDIS, and the one that David got was a copy. It's like it's a copy of the TARDIS. It's like, fine, fair enough. I'll let you have that. I probably wouldn't have minded if it was the other way around, but I still liked it. But it is really amusing. Like we saw Ncuti like what, maybe on screen for maybe less than 10 minutes, and he already gave such an impact where I was like, oh, I'm gonna love him. He's gonna be so brilliant, because he gives off the vibe of just like, he could be serious, he could be heartwarming. Like, the fact that he was the one who had to tell David that Doctor to be like, a lot's happened to you, man. You need to calm down. You need to give yourself a breather. You need to stop. I love that was him. It would be like, but he could also be super silly, super sassy, super like charming. I thought that was great. So I'm gonna love him. I'm thinking he's gonna be fantastic. Because then when you get to the end, and the Doctor is just hanging out with Donna and her family there. It's like, he's got a family now. It's like, I love that. That's just like, okay, that's a thing, because that's just, of all the Doctors of recent times, that's the one I love that they needed to be parked. And I'll address this because I know there are people out there who are like, wait a minute, you're saying the Doctor now needs to be arrested because it's like, didn't he spend like 1,000 years on Trenzalore, or like, didn't like Peter the 12th Doctor, spend like 24 years with River Song? In my mind, a lot of the times when like he was there or doing those things, like he never really truly, the Doctor has never really truly stopped. He was always doing something that was like protecting the universe. I mean, like when he was like on Trenzalore for like 1,000 years, he wasn't just relaxing. He was defending the planet constantly. He was defending it and making sure everyone was like safe and protected. Even like when the 12th was like with River for like all that time, he was still being there for River. Like it wasn't really about himself. It was about for River's sake, because River was the one who was like upset that this was basically the last night she was ever going to see him. So he did that for her. It wasn't like relaxing for her a bit. Or even like when the 12th Doctor was like at the university for like 50 years. Like he was guarding the Master. He was guarding the Mistress, Master, whatever. He was guarding Missy all that time. It's like, in my mind, he's always had to, the Doctor, or even like when the 13th Doctor was in prison. She was in prison, all that time for many years. That was there, just doing stuff. It's like the Doctor has always had to do stuff. They've always never stopped doing things. So in moments where it looked like they were on a long break, they weren't on a break. They were still doing stuff. This is the one Doctor who I think really genuinely has nothing to do. There's no universe that needs to be saved. There's no plan that needs to be done. He knows that there is a Doctor out there that will do all of that. He knows that he was told by himself, I'm just going to relax with the new family I got. And the fact that David's last line in this was, I've never been so happy in my life. It's like, you know what? That's a nod. That's a thing for the 60th anniversary. Like, at least one Doctor, at least a Doctor, relaxing after 60 years of constant adventures. Of just being like, having so much to do, so many things going on to him. To have like one of them be there and be like, okay, I truly do not need to do anything else. I can just sit down, day to day, do nothing, relax. I doubt I'll ever see him again. I'll be amazed if I do, because I think even Russell, he was like, oh, you get one mention. You get one mention in the next series, and that's it, Because I'm all in on Ncuti now. I'm all in on the 15th Doctor. I'm all in on what he'll do, and I'm damn well going to be excited for that, for what's going to happen. Okay, so that is my full thoughts and feelings, I think, about the 60th anniversary specials. Overall, I liked them. I thought they were great in terms of what the whole message was. I thought there were bits and pieces where I was like, okay, didn't need that, or like some bits where I was like, oh, that's super convenient, or like, things going on there. But overall, I liked them. I liked them because it was like a return to form to me, and especially for a lot of people out there who probably like who haven't watched Doctor Who in a while, because I have. I've watched it full and through. I've powered through a lot of them, because I understand there were times where it's just like there were some times when Doctor Who was hard to watch. I get that. I believe me, I do. I stuck around because it is my favorite show ever. I love it too much to watch it not do that. But going forward now, it looks like it's going to be really, really good. And I'm really going to hope it's going to be fantastic. Because I love the vibe that they're going to give. I love what they're going to show. I love the fact that it's on Disney Plus now. That it's a lot bigger audiences are going to happen. I don't get the idea of like, they've separated it. Like, I think even on iPlayer now, it's like 2005 to 2022, and then it's like Doctor Who is 2023 onwards. Like, it's a new chapter, which I'm like, I mean, I've already done this once. Don't make me do this again. But like, okay, fine. It's a new chapter. I can see new everything, and we're gonna see him and Millie Gibson, I think, yes, on Christmas Day, where you will get a reaction. You will get a reaction, And if you want to watch my other reactions, I have a playlist on this channel where please go watch them. I would love for you to watch them all first and then watch the other one, because I will do the Christmas Day special. I'll get it up and running as soon as I can. soon as possible, because I will watch it, because I can't not watch it, and things beyond that. But I love it too much, to not do it. It's my favorite show, and a lot of times this show has had bad episodes, but those 3 were not bad. They were good in my eyes, a little bit rushed, a little bit like, convenient Deus Ex Machina and stuff, and a little bit interesting there. But again, I like them. They were good, All right, guys. So that is going to be it for this live stream and such. Do please, give me, if you, because I'll keep this live stream up for everyone to see. Please do comment down below or anyone else what your thoughts and feelings are. I'd love to chat with you guys in terms of what you think is going on. Because, this is just me spouting up rubbish and just sort of like being like, saying what I think. If I actually had like intelligent conversations that I actually think through again with other people, it's really useful to argue with someone else here. But then please give me your opinion. I'd love to hear about it, about the specials and what you think about them. Do remember that now. I also have membership now. You can join and do whatever stuff about that. I have the tier list and stuff. You can do the super chats and super likes and stuff. Please do. Aside from that, guys, I'll probably see you next time with the Doctor Who Christmas special reaction. So thanks so much for anyone watching this, guys. It was really lovely, and I thank you all so much. And I'll keep this up. And all right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, bye.